Hi, friends. Have you ever noticed, have you ever asked yourself, why is it that we spend so much of our livelihood, sometimes the majority of it, if not all, worrying so much about what other people think about us, how other people feel about us? It feels surreal sometimes when you realize these things because the thing is, it's this is so ingrained in our minds and our own psychology because of the way it's been pretty much indoctrinated to us, right? We carry all these ideologies and concepts that are so untrue about ourselves that at the end of the day we end up convincing ourselves that that's the case. And the amount of issues that will occur because of this are endless. That's the biggest problem right there. It's no joke. Sometimes when you begin to see these things for how it truly works, you will realize and understand that for the most part, until we wake up from this dream, because that's what it is, it's a dream. I'm not going to call it a nightmare because it's just a matter of perspective, right? But it's a dream. Most of our lives we don't live our own lives because we are constantly projecting all these things. We are either looking back all the time or projecting into the future, which is not the ideal way to live a life. Because if we're going to be honest with ourselves, the only thing that matters is the here and the now. Yesterday already happened. It's absolutely pointless to be looking at that. And tomorrow hasn't come yet. But yet we're constantly directing our energy and our focus into these things without understanding that this doesn't do anything for us. So the problem is that we've always been told our whole lives, since early days of our childhood, that we should always be worrying about how other people see us, how other people feel about us. In a lot of cases, so many of us are not even pursuing, following our own dreams. I mean, how many of us out here even chose our own profession or whatever we do for a living because it was what one of our parents or both of our parents expected us to do? For example, how many people out there became doctors, dentists, or whatever other field or profession they chose to pursue, not because of themselves, but because of their parents, because that's what their parents wanted. And you wanted to please your parents, make them happy. But did you ever stop to ask yourself if that's what you wanted? What about what you want? Don't you think that that should be the focus? Don't you think that that should be what matters to yourself? How do you feel about yourself truly? Again, honesty is the key here. We have to be honest with ourselves, right? If you are doing something that is not what you wanted to do, but it's what someone else wanted you to do or expected of you. Do you see the issue here? I mean, this is not that hard to explain. Most of the time we're not doing anything for ourselves, if any. We're always fulfilling someone else's expectations, desires, perhaps, feelings, ideas, mindsets, ways of thinking, all of that stuff. The conditioning goes deep into our subconscious. And after a couple of generations or so, it's pretty much a done deal. There are very few people who wake up to these facts, who can see this matrix of life for what it truly is, and then can finally begin to understand how this all works. I hope you don't hear my stomach growling or anything like that. If you do, it's because I've been fasting. I just started, and yeah, it's gonna be a long week for me. I should have done it a little while ago, but I didn't. So, but the point is, we continue to live our lives this way, not realizing or understanding that this is not a wise way to do things, because when we do it that way, we're not we're not living our lives the way that is the most optimal or the most ideal. And this is not hard to figure it out once you begin to open your eyes a little bit. So, what you have to do really is apply some of these concepts that I'm talking about here into your own life, because it doesn't take much to prove this to yourself. I always tell people, don't take my word for it. Go out there and apply these things into your personal life and see the difference that it makes, because we are out here always, or it almost feels that way, or should I say, it always feels that way almost all of the time, that it doesn't feel like you're living your own life. Because to be truthfully honest with you, most of the time it's not. Most people, they don't follow their own feelings, their guts. What what they really desire in their own lives. None of this stuff. Because we're always trying to make everybody else happy, to please everybody else, to help everybody else. Because when we don't do that, and we're not fully aware of all of these things yet, this is how do I put this? This is the only way that we know, or that we think anyway, that we can be seen, acknowledged, validated, all of these things, right? But we don't realize that when we change the focus into ourselves, it's almost like a cheat code, because it changes pretty much everything in every single way. What happens when you begin to do things for yourself? That's what I call it. Do it for yourself. Not because of something else, somebody else. Do it for yourself. Follow your own heart, your own desires, your own ideas. Pursue your dreams, not somebody else's. One day, time will pass by, because time doesn't stop for anyone. And then you're going to be old. And you've passed so many opportunities, situations, scenarios. You didn't get to meet so many people that perhaps would have been key and vital for so many good things to come your way. Because we were always busy doing someone else's bidding but our own. This is usually how it is. So the best advice that I can give to anyone, especially if you're younger, the younger the better. I don't get a lot of young viewers on this channel here, sadly. I can't control that though, so I'm not gonna dwell on it, obviously. But when I look at my statistics, there's like 1% of my viewers is like, you know, 18, 20, whatever, that age bracket. It'll help so much in so many ways. We don't come here to live this life to live someone else's ideas, expectations, dreams, and any of these things that I keep talking about. Even if they're part of your family, doesn't matter. Nothing gives no one the right to have rule or governance over any aspect of your life. That's the beauty of this place. That's the beauty of the freedom that is given to us by the universe. We are free to choose what to do. We are free to live our lives however we please. Yes, there will be some constraints because of the rules and regulations of how this realm works, but outside of that, everything else is up to you. It's always been. Since your early childhood, everything else is up to you. So stop living your life for others, because of others, and start doing it for yourself. Do it for yourself. And then everything is going to fall into place just as it is meant to be. That's what alignment really is. I know that for some this may sound really selfish. But if you don't apply these concepts into your life, real change of the good type, the good kind, it won't happen easily. Doesn't mean it won't happen at all, but you could save yourself a lot of trouble, right? It's like taking shortcuts of the good kind. And again, I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. That's not my problem. That's your problem, right? You have to figure that out. But I can promise you that if you keep living your life worrying about what other people think, how other people feel, always trying to live up to the expectations of everybody else but you, that's not going to help you. I guarantee you that. That is not going to help you. There is no wisdom in that. There's only foolishness. If you've been here before, you know that I don't sugarcoat stuff. That's not my style. That's not what I am about. I'm not here to tell you all these things to make you feel great about yourself. You shouldn't need someone to come in here and tell you things to make you feel great about yourself. Because that comes from within. That doesn't come from something outside of you. And the quicker you realize these things, the better your life will be. I'm not joking here. This is no joke. You don't need someone outside of you to tell you things about yourself or create this fantasy world of ideas for you to make you feel good about yourself. Nobody else can do that for yourself but you. This is some serious stuff here that I'm talking about. I hope you understand that. The misery that so many of us like to bask in and embrace is created most of the time, if not all of the time, by ourselves. The state of being that a person has And what I mean is, how do you really feel about yourself? How do you think about yourself? How do you see yourself? How do you perceive yourself? That's what really matters in this world. Because if you're not capable of understanding and feeling this for yourself, that there are so many wonderful things about you that you may not even know about because you refuse to step outside of this pain and suffering that you've created for yourself, and you just enjoy remembering and reliving all of it over and over and over again. Yeah, it's a weird love-hate relationship that we have with these parts of us that some people may call ego. You can call it whatever you want. That they just like that kind of thing. It's all about the learning. It's all about the experience. It's that simple. So, for the last time, before I leave today, do it for yourself. Try it. You won't be disappointed. That is for sure. Do it for yourself. If you like the channel, don't forget to leave a like, share, subscribe perhaps. It's the only reason why I keep coming back here and making these videos. So, with that said, take care of yourself. Do it for yourself. And I will catch you all on the next one. Okay? Be safe. Take care. Until next time, my friends.